Today, I'm going to teach you how to build and sell AI systems. Specifically, we're going to go through the AI lead generation system, otherwise known as the AI paid funnel system. So what are we actually building? Well, an AI system is a machine that generates results for a business. And the paid funnel system is the one with the broadest market and the lowest barrier to entry. Now, what it produces is leads, appointments, and customers on demand, and businesses pay between $500 and $50,000 a month for this service. Now, I've got some quick proof for you. These are taken from my actual AI marketing agency, affluent.co. I've got a 71K invoice, that's like $100,000, 50K, 22K. These are paid. Now, we have 8 years of experience. So granted, you're not going to get this right away. We have earned our rights to get to this place because of the results we get for our clients. These are 3 separate clients. These are performance-based retainers. I wanted to show you these so you know this is not a fluke. This is real and companies are paying for this right now. So what is the actual process? Now, there are 4 stages to delivering the service, and we're going to get deep into it today. The first step is traffic, okay? And so what we do is we run paid ads that generate demand. Then we have the funnel, which is where we create landing pages. So a funnel really is another word for a landing page. Why funnel? Well, it starts with a broad market and we squeeze them down into customers. And so we capture the leads information. Stage 3 is AI appointment settings. So we use AI to contact and book the clients or the leads into our client's calendar so they can convert them into money. And then we build back-end systems, stage 4. So we build infrastructure for scale. So how exactly do we build this? Now let's start off with stage 1, which is traffic, the ads in particular. Now what exactly are we building? They're meta ads, so Facebook or Instagram ads being the easiest platform to start advertising on and the highest conversion. And these are short form videos or static images. You'll see this is a static image here that I generated myself with AI. The tool we use is Claude to go ahead and write prompts or scripts for video. We use Higgsfield to go ahead and actually generate the creative. I'll show you in a second. And then if you are a beginner, you can use Canva if you want to get some really fast statics as well. But I would broadly recommend writing a prompt with Claude and then using Higgsfield. Now, any great ad has 4 components. Number 1, we have the hook, which is this text we got here. Keep more of what you earn. This is a dummy ad for a tax planning business. That's going to hook your attention. Yes, I want to keep more of what I earn. We then have the offer itself. We've got keep 10K plus more of what you can earn. And then we have proof. Now, we don't have proof on this ad specifically, but broadly, I would recommend having like 5 stars or some kind of testimonial, maybe even in the copy itself, but certainly in a video, we need to have proof. And then finally, we have our call to action. So book your free review. And so it's all very congruent. It needs to feel like one congruent process that we are taking people through if we want to get them to convert, because the creative decides who stops scrolling and then clicks through. Okay, so the creative is what we use in order to reach the right person and get them to take the action we want them to take. So let's go ahead and create something like this. I'm gonna go over to Claude to create the prompt first of all. I'd like you to create a really simple prompt for a meta ad, and this prompt is gonna go on Nano Banana Pro. I want an image ad, and this is for a tax planning business. The offer is a free tax consultation, and I think the headline should be, keep more of what you earn. And I'm thinking maybe it should be a woman in a nice casual home office on the image itself, and not too much text on the screen. And maybe we can have a 5-star proof signal somewhere on this ad, wherever fits. So we're keeping that very conversational. We'll let Claude go ahead and create this for us. Okay, over time, systems are just going to get better to just allow us to have these kind of human interfaces, these human-based prompting, and then it's just going to give us the best output. But for now, I like to make sure that we have some kind of middleman, I suppose, doing this prompt. Let's just actually make this a little bit bigger whilst I'm doing this. Then we're going to go over to Higgsfield. And you can see on Higgsfield, we've got images, we've got videos, we can use all the latest models. It's kind of an all-in-one. It's what we use our agency, affluent.co. I'm going to paste this here, hit generate, and I'll put links in the description to all the tools that we go through today. It's going to go ahead and generate these ads. So here we go. That is not bad at all. Keep more of what you earn. Book your free tax consultation. We've got the 5 stars there. We've got a very realistic woman looking there. You would not tell the difference between this woman and the photo that you've actually gone ahead and taken. Now, I think the brand fonts could be a little bit better. We'd play around with this, would make it a little bit sexier. But for a, what is that, 30-second job, that is not too bad at all. And so that's the kind of creative we are looking to put spend behind in order to generate revenue for our clients. Now, we of course would want to generate videos as well. If we did want to generate videos in Higgsfield, we'd go over to video, we'd hit create video, and we can even create AI UGC, which is user generated content. It's talking head content. It is almost inseparable, the quality difference between AI and human right now, and that is why we use it an awful lot across the business at the moment with every single client we work with. Now, stage 2 is the funnel, the landing page itself. Yes, we can use AI to do this as well. We are building a landing page that matches the ad and captures the lead's details. So we're driving traffic through to the landing page, we're getting their details, and the tools I recommend Go High Level for ultimate ease right now, especially for beginners, or Claude Code for advanced users. The framework is we're going to have 3 sections on this landing page. We're going to have the hero section, which is what we see right here, which has the headline calling out the offer, the call to action, and so on. And then we have our proof segment with all of our case studies that we've got to back up that. And then finally, we have a call to action underneath that as well. We might even have an additional call to action section depending on how complex the offer actually is. Let me show you how easy it is to generate landing pages right now. So if we go over to Go High Level's new AI studio, I would like you to generate a simple landing page for a tax planning business, a tax advisory, with the headline, keep more of what you earn. And the call to action is going to be a free tax assessment. I want 3 sections. Number 1, the hero section. Number 2, the proof section with case studies. And number 3, the call to action just underneath that. Great. We send. I'm actually going to let High Level go ahead and do this. What we're going to do is we're going to move on, because it will take, I'm finding on the system at the moment, probably up to 5 minutes in order for it to go ahead and generate this. And so for now, we're going to move on and we're going to go on to stage 3, and we will come back to the funnel in a moment. Stage 3 is AI appointment setting. Now what we're building is an AI that contacts every lead within seconds, and it qualifies them and books them onto the call. The tool we use for that is AppointWise, which is the AI appointment setting software, which I own. I actually invested in it over a year ago, became a co-founder of the business after using it a ton myself. Beforehand, we had the pain of hiring human appointment setters who were really slow. Humans have to sleep. But leads are 10 times less likely to convert if not contacted within 8 minutes. And so now when we move over to AI, we get the benefit of speed to lead. We can contact every single lead. We can qualify at mass. And so we can squeeze the juice out of every single person that is coming onto the funnel. And so we can reach out to them on WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, SMS, whatever platforms we have access to, whatever information we have collected on that landing page, we can reach out to that prospect there. And we can send multimedia and so on as well, being voice notes in the voice of us or our client as well. Now the final stage, stage 4, is back-end systems. Now once we have actually built the front end, okay, we've got leads coming through, we've got the funnel, we have AI appointment setting, converting those leads, we want to then look at what else we can do to build infrastructure for the clients we are working with. So this is the infrastructure that runs once the front end is producing results. First, we have a CRM, so we track every single lead, we have every conversation, every single stage, we understand, okay, is someone opted in? Have they been contacted? Have they booked in a meeting with the client? Have they converted? So we can track that pipeline, and we can do that again on Go High Level. We also have reporting, so the client needs to see all of the numbers on the back end. We again can do that in High Level, but there will be very industry specific metrics that certain industries will want to understand that others won't. And so to do that, we can go ahead and build a simple dashboard on Claude Code. We can rustle one of those up in very limited time. And then we have reactivation flows as well. So we can reactivate old leads that went cold by reaching out to them on AppointWise. So not everybody who opts into a funnel is going to go ahead and take the action you want them to take. That's just the reality of sales. And so what we can do is we can reach out to old leads who opted in maybe a month ago, and we can throw them a brand new offer to see if that would entice them to convert. And we can do that, and we can deliver that through AppointWise. We automatically follow up with those leads as well. So we're squeezing the juice out of this. We want to maximize the amount of money that we are making for our clients, because they are spending money in order to acquire these leads. And so we want to ensure that we are squeezing the funnel. Okay. Now this is where we expand the scope and we build AI infrastructure once the system has proved itself. We're not just limited to, the CRM, the reporting, the reactivation. We can start thinking about building maybe an AI operating system for our clients. When we build the trust for a market and they want to work with us for a very long time and already have done, we start understanding their problems, their pains, wants, needs, and desires. And we can start building systems that make our companies more efficient across the board. We solve their problems one by one. we help them become AI enabled, and hence they stay with us for a very long time because you're the person that took them from the dark ages to the new era that they live in, and you rid them of the FOMO, okay, and the fear that they have that AI is coming to change their industry dramatically, which it ultimately is. Is this funnel created yet? Has it been generated? Not just yet. We're designing the AI system, the design system, we are creating components. Well, we will come back to it and we'll move on to now. Who are we actually going to sell this stuff to? Who are we going to sell the system to? Who buys this system? Any business that needs more customers and has the money to pay for them. Okay, so they have to be established. As a general rule of thumb, anything from 2 to 10 employees is a great place to start. So if you're watching this, you're a complete beginner, start off there. If you're more experienced, you can go for the bigger companies. They need to be small enough to need you, but big enough to pay for you, okay? Now, if you are, you think that you could just jump in and start working with corporate companies as a complete beginner, you're in the wrong place. You're not going to be able to do that at all. You're not going to be able to build enough trust with someone unless you've got an unfair advantage with the industry. You've got to work with small enough businesses but that have enough money to pay you in the first place. So minimum revenue, $20,000 a month. Below that, they simply cannot afford you. Now, the signal would be that they are suitable. Maybe they're already spending money on ads, okay, or aware that they should be. They're trying proactively to market. They're demonstrating that they actually want to grow. The best niches would be professional services. So we have like those tax advisors, we've got accountants, we've got financial services, we've got law services, insurance services. Professional services are high ticket. They're very used to paying for leads. It works very well. High ticket services as well. And so we do have, for example, and not limited to any of these niches I'm mentioning right now, let's say home services. We don't want to work with the one-man bands, but we do want to work with the ultra-premium, let's say, home automation companies or kitchen remodeling companies, but the guys that do a high ticket and are more established have multi-locations. Also, online businesses, coaches, SaaS companies, e-commerce businesses. These are harder to get into as a complete beginner. So broadly speaking, I would start with the professional services, high-ticket services first, and then you can earn your way up to online businesses. But ultimately, they want to be higher-ticket businesses that have the desire to grow, which most companies do. Now, if you are unsure on where to start, you don't have an unfair advantage, then start off scattergun, okay? And that means we work with anyone who fits. We get case studies, first of all, because case studies are worth more than any kind of revenue. We specialize then once we know who we get results for. But it is very important that we are aiming to specialize, to niche down in our business. Because if we don't niche down, we're never going to be able to go deep enough with any one industry to be able to build infrastructure, to be able to build something truly worth a lot of money. These are kind of the services, the systems that get you started and embedded in an industry, and then you start building infrastructure, which is worth a lot of money that you can then sell your company for, and you can build enterprise value in the future. Now, how do we package the offer itself? We have to sell the outcome and not the mechanics, the six-pack and not the sit-ups. Most people, when they're trying to sell a system like this, will say, we are going to run your Facebook ads, we're going to generate ads with AI, and we're going to generate your landing page. No, that's all the mechanics. I don't give a shit about that. They care about what happens on the other side. We're generating more customers and ultimately generating more revenue. Sell them the six-pack and not the sit-ups. So the formula for a very basic offer would be, we help this niche get this specific outcome using AI systems, using our AI lead generation system or our paid funnel system, for example. We help tax advisors get between 10 and 20 tax consultants a month using our AI lead generation system. So it'll be a very simple offer that you would go for. But note that I'm talking about a spectrum here. Don't talk about a specific result that you can get for a client unless you've worked with them for a very long time. Because the more specific you are, that number is going to dictate who wants to work with you. If the number's too low, the big guys won't want to work with you. The number's too high, you're going to be pricing you're going to be marking yourself out of the market. Okay, we have to speak their language. So think about the terminology they use, but they might not use the terminology leads. They might use contracts and so on. So speak their language so they know that you understand them. Trigger the emotion. Okay, speak to a goal. Maybe it's becoming a market leader, and then keep the mechanism vague enough to invite a conversation. AI lead generation is like, well, we can kind of guess what we think that's going to be, but they don't know that there's ads involved, that there's funnels involved, that there's AI appointment setting, and we don't want them to. We want there to be enough intrigue for them to say, yes, let's have a meeting. meeting with you. And I am going to touch on shortly how you can actually secure meetings. How do we price this? There's 3 ways to sell this system. You're going to pick based on your experience and the client's appetite. Now, the first one, which is where most people start, is the ongoing retainer. And so for a complete beginner who hasn't sold this system before, you're looking at between $500 on the low end to $3,000 a month. Now, of course, $500 is not a lot of money, but I cannot understate this enough. Money isn't your priority when you're first starting off. It's case studies, it's proof that you can do this, and you leverage that proof in order to get people to pay you more money, get closer to that 3K a month. When you're more established, you've got case studies, you've got proof, you can charge between 3 and 8K a month. Now the maths, 10 clients at 1K, even 1K a month as a beginner is $120,000 a year in recurring revenue from just 10 deals. Although you're not going to be aiming for this because you've got a full comprehensive system, you're going to be charging between 2 and 3K when you've got the proof in order to do that. And the proof being we've generated X results for people. So the contrast between how much money you're making your clients and how much they're paying you is big, okay? And then they can rationalize that decision. No one wants to pay 2K if they don't think they're even going to earn that money back. But when you've got proof that you can get it to them, it's very easy to sell someone at that rate. Now, the next thing that we do beyond retainers is a fixed term license. So you run the system for a fixed window. You get paid more money up front. You get this one upfront payment. The client gets the results, but they don't keep the system. It's your system to keep, just like it is with the retainer. Now, the use case is for clients who want proof before committing to a retainer with you, okay? So typically this would be like 15K for 3 months. And so it's kind of like charging for 3 months of a retainer, but just all in one lump sum. So you get the security that the client is staying with you for that time period, but also the client knows exactly what they're getting in that time period as well. Now, these 2 pricing strategies, the fixed term license and the build and hand over, I would only recommend once you've got at least 3 to 5 case studies, good case studies in the business. So you can even warrant going ahead and pitching someone on 15K. Now, next we have the build and hand over. These are one-off project fees. You build the system in the client's account and you hand over the keys. So you build the AI system that can run this entire infrastructure automatically, and then they own it forever. There is no ongoing revenue from that client. You build it once, you give it to them. Now, the use cases for experienced operators with bigger clients who their clients want to own the asset. So maybe you're working with online fitness coaches or SaaS companies or e-commerce companies. The kind of digital businesses that exist out there will usually want to keep the system for themselves. At least the larger guys will. And so you can charge between 30 and 50K one-off to install these systems into businesses. Some people will charge an awful lot more than this. You know, you've seen me with those retainers I showed you earlier charging up to $100,000. That's not to hand over the system. That is for an ongoing retainer with a performance model on top of that, where we take a slice of the results that we actually get for our clients. If we were to hand over that system, we would charge multiple hundreds of thousands to those clients that are already paying us 50K plus per month, okay? So we lead with the retainer, and the other 2 are plays that you layer in once you have proof. Do not try and run before you can walk. And that is who we sell it to and how we price it. Have we got this funnel? Yes, we do. I was about to say no, we don't. We do. Here we are. Look at this. So this is a really simple funnel. Obviously, we've gone for a kind of a white design. It was very clean though, very, very clean. Keep more of what you earn. Get your free tax assessment, see case studies, we've got the proof there, trusted by 500 business owners. Look at average savings, look at that. We've got a nice, kind of bit of a stock image, we can change that. Real clients, real savings, we've got the case studies that we said and the results that they've generated, ready to stop overpaying. Here we've got our lead form. This landing page was generated from one simple prompt that I sent on a voice note, and you know, as we've continued with this training, it's gone ahead and done that for us. We can go ahead and we can publish that, we can edit this, we can go back to the prompt and we can say, hey, I don't like the color scheme, can you make it dark mode, etc., etc. We no longer need any web development experience to be able to create beautiful landing pages that convert well, because we've kept it simple. Just have the hero section, have the proof, and then have the call to action. You don't need anything else. People way overcomplicate landing pages. Okay, so how do we actually go ahead and book meetings with individuals? I'm going to make this a little bit larger now as we move on to this segment. We'll start off with the channels, and we'll start off with the most manual, and then we'll end at the most automated. The first is cold calling, and so this is high intent per conversation, and it's going to build thick skin quickly. Before I was an agency owner, I spent 3 years cold calling, 150 plus dials every single day. It was brutal, but it took me from an introvert to someone who had a lot of external confidence. I wouldn't call myself an extrovert, but someone who had a lot more confidence in the outside world. It taught me how to sell, and it taught me, most importantly, resilience. And so I cannot recommend cold calling enough. I still stand by in this AI era. Cold calling is one of the most effective ways to get meetings. I'm going to run through later, if you stick around, the exact conversion rates that you should expect on each of these. Even more high friction, door to door. This is the highest conversion rate of all channels. Nobody's doing it. In a world where everyone can hide behind their computer, nobody is on the streets, okay? And that's the reason why you should do it. Start off working with local businesses in the niche that you've chosen and go knock down their door, and you'll be shocked at how many meetings you can set. DMs, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, this can be automated using various different tools, although it's kind of against terms of service for some of these, but you can get away with it. It's good for consumer niches. And then we have cold email. You can fully automate this at scale. We're currently sending over 2,000 emails every single day at my agency, completely automated. All of the lead scraping is automated. This is a volume play. It has the lowest response rate, but the highest reach. Okay, and so you can't just send 50 emails a day and think you're gonna get results. You're not. You're gonna have to send hundreds, if not thousands, to really get the result you wanna generate from email, because it's the lowest friction. It's the easiest to do. Finally, we have paid ads, and we only do this once we have proof. Do not think that you can just create an ad on Higgsfield and start signing up clients. You're not going to be able to, because a lot of people are running ads. You need to make sure you've got a good offer and you've got proof to back up that offer, because people won't just believe your words these days. We're in the world where anyone can say anything, but not many people can back it up. So when you've got 3 good case studies or 1 exceptional case study, you can start running ads, and I'd recommend Meta as the place to go. Pick one first, layer in the others once the first one is actually running, okay? Now we go deeper separately. The details are in dedicated videos that I've recorded on this channel. I'm going to put links in the description for each of these things, okay? So if you want to continue learning on any of these strategies, I'm talking at 1,000 miles an hour today because I'm conscious of the fact that this is a very chunky video and I've got an awful lot to go through. So I do have dedicated videos. There'll be a link in the description. You can go and watch them later on after this one. Today's video is about the whole system, so pick the channel you want and then go deeper on it separately. That is how we book meetings. How are we going to go ahead and sell this thing? How do we sell the paid funnel system, or any AI system really for that matter? The principle is it's consultative and not a pitch deck. It's a proper conversation when we're first starting off, okay? So do not go into a meeting thinking that you need this elaborate pitch deck, okay? Especially when we're first starting off and signing up our first clients that are gonna be smaller. We don't need a pitch deck. We wanna just have what I call a conversational problem solving exercise. That is what this kind of sales strategy is. Pressure selling doesn't work for this. The client needs to feel understood. Your job is to understand their situation well enough to know if your system is right for them and make them feel that understanding in the process. So they just need to feel like you understand their problems. The best case scenario is they feel like you understand their problems better than they do. How do you begin to even go from a beginner to someone who does understand the business's problems better than they do? Well, you just listen and you learn. And through every single conversation you have, you're going to get more intelligence and more understanding of the problems they face. And as you solve the problems for businesses, you're going to get more conviction in your ability to actually solve them. Okay, so you will naturally get better and better with time. The flow of the meeting, or we start off with rapport. The first 10 minutes are just understanding where they're at before we mention the system at all. We're just going to go back and forth and ask them a whole bunch of different questions. We dig into their situation, where they are now, what do they want, where do they want to be, what has worked, what hasn't, and every answer is ammunition for the close. Okay, so we need to understand not just where they are, where they want to get to, but what have they tried, okay, to try and solve the problem on their own. Have they tried to work with other people? Have they admitted to themselves that they can't solve this problem and they need to get help in? Okay, that's what I call going 3 layers deep when we find pain. We are trying to identify pain. We are digging 3 layers deep into that pain before we go ahead and present the solution. And when we do, we are beautifully vague. We are not teaching them how to build. We are showing them why our solution solves their specific problem. We let them ask questions and answer only what they ask. So we make a specific statement. I call this an elevator pitch, where we say, what I do is I help tax advisors generate more tax consultations without them having to do X, Y, Z. and we say nothing else. We stay really quiet. We might say, and we do that through our AI lead generation system. And we stay quiet and we allow them to dig. We allow them to ask questions. We allow them to sell themselves on the service that we have. We don't want to be there with this long pitch deck saying it does this and it does this and it does this. Mechanics, mechanics, mechanics. Focus on the outcome and allow them to give you their objections. Most people think objection handling happens after we state the price. It doesn't. The majority of good objection handling happens way before the price. It happens in the presentation stage, or as I like to call it, the solve stage. Finally, we then state the price with confidence. Ideally, they have asked us for it. They don't have any questions. They say, have you got any final questions? Well, how much does it cost? Great. We state the price with confidence. The price for our AI lead generation service is X per month. We don't say anything else. We handle their objections. They're gonna have objections on pricing, time, trust, or maybe just one of these things, maybe none of these things, but most meetings you're gonna get objections. An objection is not a rejection, it's just a request for more information. That's what my first sales mentor said to me that stuck with me. And we get a secure payment on the call where possible, and we book the onboarding call before they leave. But just know that you're not gonna sign everybody up. Your close rate is probably gonna be 20% on calls attended in the early stages. You know, it might even be a little bit less when you're first starting out. And so if you've not been in sales ever, you're gonna struggle. That is natural. You're never gonna be an expert when you do this, but with every single call, with every piece of repetition, you're gonna get better and better and better. And of course, go deeper separately. I've got a full sales meeting breakdown in a dedicated video. I'll link it in the description. You can go ahead and you can watch that if sales is where you are weakest right now. Finally, the numbers and your roadmap. We'll start off with the outreach maths. Now, this is based on over 4,500 agency owners that I've worked with over the past 8 years. This is taken from the averages of everybody we have coached. Okay, so for cold calling, on average, 25 dials to get one meeting booked. That's a 4% meeting booked rate, okay? You can do 25 dials in about 2 hours, okay, if you're focused. And so over the course of a day, you can be booking multiple meetings. The majority of people don't do that because it's pretty brutal. If you can do that, if you've got the resilience, that's how I managed to get to 10K a month in 3 months when I first started. I was able to do that because I had the resilience to stick to my calls. Email or DM, 50 to 100 messages is one meeting booked, so it's a 1 to 2% meeting book rate. Actually, email is closer to 0.5% if you're doing a good job. Door to door, 10 to 15 doors, one meeting booked, that's 7 to 10%. Unreal, okay? But again, most people aren't doing it because it's scary, it's intimidating. They can't be asked, they just want to sit behind a computer. Meetings to clients, 5 meetings booked is free attended. Not everybody's going to show up. People will ghost you. That is natural. Then 1 client signed on the basis of about a 33% close rate, okay? It's realistically like more like 0.7 clients signed, but rounding that up there. And if you want faster results, just increase your daily output. The maths does not lie. Your input volume will directly equate to the output on the back end. Consistency and resilience are the single most important traits in you build it. It's not the system itself that's going to make you successful here. I know people would like to believe that AI is the thing that's going to make them rich without them having to do any work ever. It's not. You are the person, the only thing standing in the way of where you are right now and what you actually want to achieve in life. I'm going to lay like the first 3 months for you. I'm going to break it down really simply so you've got a roadmap and what to do from here. Month 1, foundations and first client. Week 1, we pick the niche, we diagnose the ICP, the ideal customer profile, so how many employees have they got, what's their revenue level. We build our offer and we generate a hit list of 200 to 500 leads. I've got videos in the description how you actually generate leads. Week 2, we go through outreach. We do that live, 25 dials a day, 50 emails, 50 DMs if we can keep that up as well. For you absolute animals, I would recommend just doing 50 dials a day instead. Week 3, we get our first 3 to 5 meetings, okay? This is very conservative. You should have meetings in week 1 or week 2. And we run the consultative sale, that conversational problem solving strategy. Week 4, we sign our first 1 to 2 clients. They're signed. We get 2K a month in recurring revenue conservatively. Month 2, we get our first results and we sign up, that shouldn't say second client right now, we sign up our 3rd and our 4th client. Our ads go live for client 1. The AI setter is running on the back end. We're getting our first appointments booked for the client. The client is starting to be happy. Outreach continues. 3 to 4 clients signed by the end of the month. The revenue is now 3 to 5K a month, reoccurring if we are consistent. Month 3, we scale, we get case studies. Client 1 has got proof of results. The case study is built out. The case study unlocks a higher pricing on subsequent deals. We now got clients 5 to 8 signed at 2 to 3K a month each. We're at 10K a month plus in revenue, reoccurring reoccurring by the end of month 3. Now, I do have a great story of someone that done this very recently, started in December. His name is Christian, and within 3 months, he went over $10,000 a month. He's now got 20 clients paying in between 1 and 3K per month. I'm actually going to do a video breaking down exactly why he was able to do that in such a short time frame, and I'm going to do that on this channel. So if you're not already, subscribe and turn your notification bell on, and I'll break down exactly what made Christian different and allowed him to do that from just December. He started recently, and I'll do that very soon. Now, the numbers assume that you put the work in. Results are not guaranteed. Your niche, your offer, and your effort decide where you land. But if you've got the grit to start a business and you're committed to putting in the work, to staying consistent, and to being resilient, this is exactly where I'd be starting right now. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.